All right, let's get right into it. If you're using TikTok Shop, you already know the goal isn't just to post random videos. It's about actually growing your presence and, making sales. So today, we're going to talk about how to stop guessing and start building a real strategy by finally understanding your analytics.
Does this sound familiar? You spend all this time making a great video, you hit post, you cross your fingers, and you just hope for the best. It's that frustrating cycle of posting and praying, and honestly, so many creators are stuck there. But there's a much, much smarter way to do this.
So the very first step is to get yourself out of what I call the analytics trap. It is so easy to get completely overwhelmed by all the different numbers TikTok shows you. But the real question you have to ask is, are you looking at the numbers that actually make you money? Or are you just chasing the ones that feel good? And this right here is the biggest difference. On one side, you've got your vanity metrics, things like likes, comments, even your follower count. Yeah, they feel awesome, they're a nice little ego boost, but they don't directly pay your bills. On the other side, though, we have the metrics that matter. We're talking GMV, that's gross merchandise value, basically the total sales you drove, the actual commission you earned, and your conversion rate. These are the numbers of your business.
Okay, so how do you actually make that shift? How do you go from caring about vanity to focusing on value? Well, it all starts with a super simple but really powerful mindset that separates the creators who make it from those who don't.
This is it. This is the whole idea in a nutshell. You can't grow what you don't track. And I'm telling you, this isn't just some catchy phrase for a motivational poster. It is the fundamental rule for making progress in, well, anything, but especially on TikTok Shop. Just think about it this way, right? You would never try to lose weight without ever stepping on a scale. How on earth would you know if your diet or your workout plan was actually doing anything? You wouldn't. You'd just be guessing. And it's the exact same thing with money. You can't possibly hit a savings goal if you refuse to look at your bank account. See, tracking isn't about obsessing over every little number. It's about having the information you need to make smart moves and actually get where you want to go. Okay, so we're all on board. We know we need to track our progress. The big question now is, what exactly should we be watching? Let's break down the specific numbers that will really guide your growth. I want you to think of your analytics like a hierarchy, or maybe even a funnel. At the very top, you've got people's attention. That's your watch time. The next level down is getting them interested enough to take an action. That's your product clicks. Then you see how efficient you are at turning that interest into sales. That's your conversion rate. And finally, at the bottom, the most important part, the money, your GMV and commission. You have to know how people are moving through these stages. Now, trying to track all of this by hand in a spreadsheet, yeah, that sounds like a total headache. But this is where things get really interesting, because new tools are using AI to not just track the numbers for you, but to actually tell you what they mean. Let's see how that works. So a great example of this is a tool called Creator Scans. And I love how they put it. They're not just a dashboard with a bunch of charts. They position themselves as your AI-powered growth coach. The whole idea is to give you an active partner that helps you figure out your next move. So what does being a coach actually mean in practice? Well, it really boils down to 3 key things. First, you get AI feedback on every single video you post, telling you what worked and what didn't. Second, you can just ask it questions like you would a real person. And third, all of that comes together to give you personalized coaching, not just a pile of data. Let's make this super real. Imagine you're just completely stuck. Your video's got tons of views, but nobody's clicking the link. Instead of just guessing why, you can literally ask the AI this exact question. And this is where the magic really happens. The AI's response isn't just another graph, it's a diagnosis. It might say, hey, your hook was a little weak, or your call to action was confusing. And then, and this is the best part, it gives you a prescription. Here are 3 new call to action ideas you can test. Now that is the difference between data and coaching. So let's take that whole concept and see how we can apply it to solve some of the most common, most frustrating problems that creators run into on TikTok Shop. How do we turn this data into actual solutions? Here it is. The classic scenario we were just talking about. Your video is blowing up. The views are climbing, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is tapping that little orange shopping cart. It is one of the most confusing feelings. When you look at the data, it usually points to one of 2 main suspects. The first is your call to action. That's the part where you actually tell people to click the link. It might be weak, or buried, or just unclear. Or, number 2, there's a mismatch between the video's content and the product you're trying to sell.
The key here is that the solution is instant. You don't have to guess what to do next. You can go straight to your AI coach and ask for specific help, like, how can I improve my CTAs? Or give me 3 new video ideas for this product. You get tailored suggestions that you can use right away.
You know, at the end of the day, success on TikTok Shop isn't about getting lucky with one viral video. That's not a business plan. Real, long-term success comes from building a sustainable habit of tracking, learning, and improving over time. It's about committing to your own growth. So what does that commitment actually look like day to day? It's pretty simple. You upload every single post. You take a minute to actually read the AI feedback. When you're stuck, you ask questions. And you just stay consistent. It's all about building that muscle of analyzing and getting a little bit better with every post.
Which really brings us to the final big question you have to ask yourself. When you look at your own strategy, your own metrics, your own goals, are you really ready to stop guessing, to stop hoping, and to start building a real data-driven business on TikTok Shop?